There's a question I want to ask you. Can I do that?
Yeah, sure.
So, okay, we were doing one of the shows, and then, I don't know if you even heard it, you're on stage, and then some random person was like, talk about road rules.
Oh, yeah.
And to me, it's just so absurd because you've done so much past beyond that.
Yeah.
You're kind of like, does anybody even remember that? How do you take it, that part of your life? And then what was that kind of fame? Because MTV was huge. That's sort of like what TikTok is now, or being a streamer.
That's a good point. I never thought about it in a correlation like that's what TikTok is now.
Yeah, think about any young person who's famous. MTV was that for us. That was like the vessel.
Well, it's probably where Michael Jackson premiered on. I'm guessing that
probably
one of the networks that it premiered on, because I think MTV was semi-universal at the time.
Yeah, that was our TikTok pretty much. Like if you wanted anything young, it was that.
Yeah.
And I also had this thought too, like young people today have it so nice that the entertainment they watch is made by young people. When we were growing up, we were watching like balding 30-year-olds try to be in high school on TV shows.
And some of them were probably touching the kids they were working with.
Maybe.
We don't know, but
there's a pretty good chance that was happening. But we were watching an approximation of youth. Yeah. You know, like that's because that's all we had. We were watching Yo Mama. We were watching Wilmer Valderrama host different factions of Yo Mama groups.
Yeah, now if you're 10, you can find a 10-year-old. Like, or now if you're 20, you can find like
somebody who speaks to you.
Right. That's a good point. I never thought about that exactly.
Because even like I'm trying to think. Like MTV, it was like older people. It was people who were watching though were 12 or 13. It slanted younger, but you had to watch. These are the youngest people I see on TV, but they happen to be 20 or 25. Like 90210. How old were they during shooting that?
They were probably 26-ish, I would bet.
Maybe. Like one of them was full on like balding.
Yeah, that's a good point. And he was in high school.
I'm like, this isn't the teacher? They gave a teacher a backpack?
Bro, remember that? Yeah, those were the shows we would sit and watch those. Oh, dude, 90210 was like, it was the show for my family. And then I'll get back and answer your question too, because I don't want you to think I was trying not to answer it. No. That was the show for my family where like we were all at a Shannon Doherty, Jenny Garth, Tori Spelling, Brian Austin Green, Jason Priestley, Luke Perry, Ian Ziering, Gabrielle Carteris, 29 years old.
Yeah, I mean, some of them are young. Yeah, some of them make sense, but some of them are a stretch.
And this is when it started too. So by the end, they were all mid-20s.
Right, but dude, yeah, that show was the show where like probably I'd watch with 3 of my siblings, and we were all like 2 years apart. So we all had like different, like one of us was watching, it was like cool about school, and one because it was cool, it was at a high school, and one of us was watching because like, you know, we hadn't gotten to hear about things that like older kids do or anything like that. And then one of us was just watching to see like if there was any leg shown or anything like that, or a little bit of sexy time or something, you know? But yeah, dude, that was a fucking juggernaut. How many people watch that show, I wonder?
So many, I'm sure.
It was unbelievable. Luke Perry passed away a few years ago, didn't he?
Yeah.
And Shannon Doherty.
Oh. Yeah, that show was wild, dude. Yeah, for the Road Rules stuff, the crazy thing for me was sometimes I can't even remember it.
It's that long ago.
It's that long ago, I think. And I think I've just had like, you know, we get busier, and like with comedy, you're doing a lot of stuff. Like you're performing in a lot of, like, you know, you get up almost every night. And so I think that starts to take, you know, that starts to take over a lot of space. One thing that was, I think, in hindsight, a blessing about that experience was that I kind of got to be like, you got a level of popularity there, but you didn't, like with doing Road Rules, being on MTV, but you didn't have any money, right? So you had no, the only way you could get like any, like kind of, you had to keep going back to them if you wanted something else, you know, you just had to be in their world. And part of it was a blessing and stuff like that. You got to do cool stuff. I'm not complaining, but one thing was I realized at that time that like there wasn't like being popular was cool, but there wasn't like a ton of value to it. Like for years I kind of thought like, oh, is this cool thing? But then I was like, well, what is it for? Like where does it really, you know, like, you know, I'd end up having long conversations with drunk dudes at a bar or something, or some fucking monster that corners you, and you're like trying to look over his shoulder for like, hopefully some woman's giving you eye contact, and you're sitting there just stuck fucking inches away from some dude's non-deodorant, you know. But yeah, I think I realized that wasn't a lot of, that fame had like, there wasn't a ton of value to it.
Well, especially monetarily, it wasn't there, right? So you just had fame, but you didn't really own your fans, kind of.
Right, you're like everybody like, oh, look at that motherfucker. Damn, he's fucked up, or he's at the, he'd be at the bus stop at school, just normal shit that's totally normal. You're in college.
Yeah, so it just gave you a bunch of conversations you didn't want to have to be in, or
yeah. Well, maybe look at the values of popularity. Like, well, what value is this? Like, yeah, it's valuable to me in the sense of like, if I'm going to be out or if I want to help get into a nightclub or something, but I don't really have a voice for myself. I didn't really have anything to show for it. You didn't make any money. So it was, you had some fun experiences, but then you were also left with a lot of people who knew who you were and no way to hide from it. Like I remember even after that, I was sleeping on my buddy's floor for like probably a year, so I don't know. It almost felt like, I don't know. It just gave you a look at what popularity was and the values of it and the non-values of it, I think. So then like I started comedy, and then 10 years later, I had this whole other experience. And most people don't even know about the first one, or they just didn't put it together.
Yeah,
I don't know what happened.
Yeah.
Because I so rarely hear about it.
It's such a deep cut.
Yeah, sometimes I wish I remember, like, I think I was just at a young place. Like, I was just at a place where you're just energetic and frenetic and shit. You're just trying to get laid and trying to just jerk yourself off or whatever and lie to people, say you got laid or something.
Well, I guess now people, because you were glomming onto this other thing that was kind of bigger than the pieces who are part of that show. So it almost feels like you're renting that fame, or you're just a part of the assembly line.
Yeah, I felt like I didn't have it didn't represent me. Like none of and it felt like I didn't. They can edit things the way they want, which are fine, but it's not my. I don't get to be the be all end all of me, right?
Yeah.
Like I don't get to say exactly how this is for me.
Right.
But I don't know. It was cool that I got this. One thing I think I'm almost kind of grateful to God about it is that I got this like trial run at what it was like to have some popularity. And so then whenever it happened again, I think I've been able to navigate it differently for myself.
Yeah.
Not always great, but I've definitely had a different perception of it and a different understanding of the potential values of it in some spaces.
Right.
Maybe. Does that make any sense?
No, it does, because even people have an idea of what fame is, but there's like levels to it as well, and you think you want it. I think especially when you're young, just because the things that you want, fame will unlock immediately.
Yeah.
But those are kind of primal wants. Once you get past it, you realize, okay, it's not as great, but it's great when you're 18 or 20.
Yeah, if you're just trying to be coming or whatever, or getting meals or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, coming and meals is great. Coming or meals, fame is great for that.
I mean, that's
but like, why am I here? It's harder. If you want to bust and have like pad thai, fame is awesome. You'll do those for free. But if you like, what are these relationships? Are they built on lies? It's harder for that.
Yeah,
it's harder.
So I don't know, but yeah. Sometime we'll have to, next time we do an episode, we'll have to go down some of those roads, or even just roads of like shows that we used to watch and shit, thinking about something that's fun. So you started out in business, you worked at Boeing. What were you doing over there?
I was doing engineering. So I was doing stress analysis at Long Beach. So the Boeing out in Long Beach, that's what I went to school for. I did mechanical engineering. But I knew I wanted to do stand-up when I was 18. I was very young. And then I just applied to jobs in SoCal. And then I got a job at Boeing in Long Beach.
And what is a mechanical engineer, just so people know?
There's different facets of it you can go into. You can do like HVAC. That's an industry you can go into, just like heating and cooling. You can go into, some people work at Toyota or with cars. And then aerospace is a big employer of mechanical. Just think about anything mechanical. There's going to be mechanical engineers like Tesla, just, anything mechanical. So then, I got my degree, and then I knew I wanted to do stand-up. And as a stand-up back then, there was no internet really, or social media. You had to go to New York or LA. And then I'm like, my parents are in Seattle. I kind of want to do entertainment as well, TV, movies. So I chose LA. So then I just applied to jobs in LA, and then I got a job at Boeing in Long Beach.
And you hadn't started doing stand-up yet?
No, I did. I was, the summer after I graduated high school, I was 18, and then I just started going to the comedy clubs in Seattle.
Did you see Adam Ray? Was he there?
He didn't start yet.
Oh.
So I think I met Adam Ray.
Brian Moot?
Yeah, Moot was there. Jeff Dye actually started a few years after me, maybe like two or 3 years after me. So there was some funny people coming out of Seattle. But Adam didn't, I met him, but he didn't start in the scene there. He started out here in LA. He went to USC. but he wasn't at the mics or anything like that.
Oh, got
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
Adam
yeah.